now I am ready.
Okay. All right. If you go onto your phone now, you should be able to start your usual watch party.
Watch party.
Watch party.
Here we go. I can't. Are we online yet?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, I won't say what I was going to say.
Oh, jeez.
All right, here we go. Live.
Mm-hmm.
Watch party.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Wait, what's this? Go live, watch party. There we go. Add video.
Mm-hmm. Hi, everybody.
Hello, people.
It's a new night.
It's a new day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're going slow tonight. Am I on the Wi-Fi?
We're actually not even. Oh, your phone's slow?
Yeah.
I heard that we could
I
get
am on the Wi-Fi.
even faster
Yes, we can.
fiber optic Wi-Fi.
Yeah, if we switch to TELUS.
To TELUS, yeah, literally. Why? TELUS is bad?
You know what? I switched to TELUS. And they got me with that. Well, you could get 155 at the time. And I was like, but I'm at 150.
Oh, no, we're way below. Like, we're at like 200 and we could get to like 1.
At the time, it was wild. It was a while ago. So then I got to TELUS, and TELUS was like, yeah, you could get the 155 with us. You know how fast it is? And I was like, no. He's like, it's really fast.
It's really, really fast.
And then he put it on, and about a week later, it dropped to 13.
What?
And I was like, what is this?
That's not fiber optic.
Yeah, it's fiber optic.
No.
Because they put in a new fiber optic cable in the back by our house. So we had just got it. It was brand new.
Okay.
And
so they're still sorting out the things.
Yeah. So they fixed those kinks, obviously, now.
Yeah.
But it was like...
A client of mine is like tech,
Mm-hmm.
for TELUS. And then another client, his wife actually, is a salesperson. So I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, you don't even have to call. Just give me a call and I'll come and look at it if anything happens. But I'm like...
What are you thinking? Just for internet?
Yeah, I want the fastest internet. I don't want any lags. All this stuff that happens, I don't want that.
Oh, you want the fastest internet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know how that goes, you know.
What is it called? Black fiber?
I don't know.
That's what I want.
You want black fiber?
Mm-hmm. I want black fiber internet.
I get it.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to season 2 of the Black Multiverse Theory Podcast. We should actually call what we've named season 2 as season 2020 and then move on to
season 20.
It was rough. We had a rough time.
Oh man, we've gone through, and most people don't realize all the things that we've gone through this year. At the beginning of this year, we started out with a fire in Australia.
A big fire that destroyed all the eucalyptus.
Yeah. And put the koala bear out of food for a while. I think it was a koala. The
koala bear, many koalas have also died.
Yes. They've lost their lives.
Yeah.
After that, we started hearing Kobe Bryant died.
Yeah, that was really shocking and terrible. And to be honest, there are certain times in the middle of the day that I'm like, oh, damn, Kobe's not here no more. Like, that's so weird.
So Kobe Bryant died shortly after that, and whispers of COVID were in the air.
Is this before or after Iran?
Now, this is... Actually, that's after. So the next thing after the fires was Iran.
The near war with Iran.
Yeah, World War III. Trump's like, anybody who's not going to join for World War III, I'm not giving you income tax back. And everyone's like, what? Can you do that? Like, what? Right. Are you making stuff up? Is this fake news? So he did that. Kobe Bryant dies. Then Murder Hornets come out.
Yes, but whoever adjusted the timeline, I think they may have adjusted back the thing they adjusted, because murder hornets went away immediately.
Yeah.
They were like, murder hornet.
Yep.
Never mind. Carry on.
No. Yeah. I think I'm the older one. I feel like I was part of the
way the news cycle goes. Like 6 days later, you're looking around and you're like, am I the only one who remembers? Did that happen?
That's what I'm saying. I think I'm part of the fix.
Yeah, you're like,
because I remember all of the things.
What was that movie, sci-fi people, with these, was it Clockwork something or other, Orange or something, where at nighttime the whole city gets rearranged? It was like a sci-fi movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I watched that one.
Like these, when I say white people, but I mean like in the sci-fi way. Like the literal color of white.
Oh, okay.
And they come out at nighttime or something, and they fix things and rearrange. I can't remember it exactly, but I do remember.
Hold down the fort for a moment.
I can remember being like, what is this? This is odd. So this week, a lot of things have happened since 2020 has started. But this week, because we haven't seen you guys for like, I think almost 3 weeks now, there's so much to talk about. We have Jada to talk about, all these entanglement situations. We have, I guess we're going to talk about Breonna Taylor until they, I guess, do something about it. But there's like kind of new revelations. The lawsuit that Breonna Taylor's mother specifically has launched against the city. We're going to be talking about there was an NDP meeting here in the city that Greg Davis and I attended as part of Melanistic Magazine. So we're going to chat about that too. Just put it on the table. Yeah. So we're going to chat about that too. And then Nigel also has his lineup. I was talking about how busy it is because every week that we're not here, more and more things on the scroll
happen.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. So we have been kind of spotty with our broadcast, I guess.
Season 2.
But season 2 at this point,
we had family emergencies.
We had a death in the family. My dad passed away on June 14th, and I was working out the kinks and the funeral costs and stuff like that. So
thank you to everybody who supported.
Yeah, I want to say special thanks out to my family who helped out in every way that they could. Special thanks out to the Black Multiverse family that came out. All the people who donated and came in there. Special thanks to the Bliss family. Special thanks to the Aphrodisiac family. Special thanks to...
We have a big community.
We have a huge community of people that kind of helped out, pitched in, time, money, hugs, which is great. Special thanks
longer than normal hugs.
Yes.
You're like, okay. Let me just settle it.
Let me just snuggle in on this hug. Okay. Normally that would have been awkward, but because of the situation wasn't that bad, it helped with my mom, and she pretty much lost her best friend, and a lot of people don't have
so sad.
That kind of relationship.
53 years.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yep. And special thanks to Nilo. She did a lot to help fundraising, get people aware of what was going on. So a real big thanks, partner in crime here.
I'm trying to normalize Black people giving money to other Black people.
Yeah, and I'm
trying to normalize.
And after this point, I'm not gonna lie to you. People come and they'll be like, "Yeah, I need money," and the first thing I think is like, "I don't got it."
Yeah.
But I do have $20. I do have $50. I do have $100 sometimes. And sometimes that gift goes a long way, and a lot of people did just that. They gave what they could, and it was every single dollar helped. It wasn't like we were unprepared. Don't get it twisted. It wasn't like we knew he was gonna pass, and then we were like, we'll deal with it when we get to it.
No,
it was a whole.
But also, death is very expensive, and I understand. Like, we're not the only community that has life insurance, and many people around life insurance will say that we have less life insurance than other communities, right?
That's true.
However, other communities come and give money as well, even though they have life insurance. So it is really normal at certain times to consolidate money around certain events. And I think that weddings are definitely one of those times, and funerals are one of those times, because beyond the life insurance, funerals themselves are very expensive. People are trying to work, like, especially as entrepreneurs, we don't necessarily have bereavement leave, and it was really hard to like take off from my business when my dad passed away, because my clients were like, oh, your dad passed away? Does that mean my appointment's canceled? Or like, they were like, what does this exactly have to do with me?
Like, so when's the funeral finish? Can you come after?
Like, yeah. And so when I came back, people felt like I was a little bit flaky. I was gone for like a month.
Yeah.
And then it was like a hard climb to build my client base back up. It wasn't like, that would be like it was a hard climb, but I was like kind of at the top of things at that point. And then to have, it's kind of like COVID in me.
Yeah. I get it.
It was just like irks.
I totally get it. The funny thing about my dad is when we found out he had ALS, and for those of you who don't know what ALS is, that's when your brain it's like works as a battery, and so your brain currently works as a battery, and it's sending energy, electrical waves and energy to your lungs, and it's powering your lungs and your liver and all the different things. So when you get a twitch in your leg, that's your brain sending the energy down there and twitching and all that stuff. So what happens with ALS is the brain, the energy of that battery called the brain, it starts to just diminish like a regular battery, and there's no charging device to recharge it or anything like that. It's losing charge at a faster rate than normal people. And so you still have all function of your brain, but now you can't use your mouth and you breathe weird because your lungs aren't expanding as much. Anyway, so we knew this was happening. So we made a huge plan and went with Serenity and we funeral home, and we made a big plan and started paying. And in the end, he paid all the funeral costs in entirety, except we went for one company for the funeral costs and then another company for the cemetery. And that's where we ran into a bit of a problem, because we knew that he probably wouldn't be able to make it to pay off the cost of the cemetery. But he was like, wow, I got life insurance. I've been paying on it steadily. I'm in good standing. He made sure he was in good standing so that when the time came, the life insurance would just come in and take up the slack. But his life insurance was out of the States, and so it takes longer.
It takes time to process.
And insurance companies on a whole,
they're trying to pay.
They're in the business of not paying.
Yes.
so
that's how they're successful. Like, when your business plan is not like delivering on the thing that you've been paid to deliver on in order to be successful, that's what you gotta think about. That one more again.
They're like, you forgot to dot the I on this one, so it looks like an L. Now we're gonna have to reprocess it from scratch. You're like, what? But you just, like, I had to call you to get this.
I've been paying for 30 years.
It is weird. So
I did an insurance course one time, and it is wild. It is. I was like, what? This is legal? They're like, yeah, and then after the end of it, you're done, and then that's it. I'm like, what? So you pay all that time, and if you don't die within a certain amount of time, like, that's it.
Yeah, that's
like,
it.
Yeah, once you turn 100, that's it.
That's it. You're out.
Yeah, you better get out before then. Shoot.
So I say all that to say thank you, because that last little bit was sizable for us to be caught like that, and not be able to, you're gonna get the money, but you don't know when, because the insurance company has to do it. Yeah. So you have a large size you have to deal with, and then that's happened. So we had it. It was a beautiful funeral. We were able to take care of everything based off everybody's donations.
Barry was talking about the same thing I was talking about, where somebody was like, somebody needs to turn off their mic. Yeah. And we were like, it's you! You need to turn off your mic.
Because of COVID, we had Zoom. So we had it on Zoom, and we had it on Ustream. Ustream through the church. So if you go on buctoday.com and you go on to click on live services, it would broadcast it live and you could watch it from anywhere. But if you were on Zoom, we also gave the link to Zoom. The problem is a lot of people don't know Zoom etiquette. And what that means is when you get onto a Zoom, if you don't know by now in COVID and you're new, and I get it, there are a lot of people that are new to the social media COVID world where we're Zooming. So if you're Zooming, you need to make sure that your mic is muted. And if you don't want people to see you because you're wearing your pajamas,
also your camera,
turn your camera off too. So we made that mistake in the first weeks of Zoom, but there's a lot of people just coming in and they were older. So at the funeral on the Zoom, there was somebody with their mic on and they were like, somebody's mic is too loud. Somebody's mic is loud. And everybody was like, it's you. You. We can hear you clearly. Yeah. So it was funny.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
You did a really great job. As far as something like that, it's definitely a rite of passage. You kind of start feeling different about people after that. I don't know if you felt that way, but I felt that way. Like anybody who has lost their very close parent to them, I'm like, oh, we're like in a club. Like we get what that is.
Yeah.
And then there's people who still have both their parents. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to be there for you one day.
Yeah. Honestly, you're 100% correct. Yeah. I spoke to...
I feel like that's the first, before we do the crossing over, that's like the first crossing over is having, I
spoke to Barry's sister, Genevieve, and she called me and she's like, how are you doing? And I said, I didn't understand you before, but I get it. I get it now. And I was like, really, I was like, oh.
You start to connect with people differently too.
Yeah. because you lose somebody and you got both your people and you've got everybody around you and nobody's died yet and everything's fine. And they're like sobbing and crying and posting on every time their birthday comes around, they post. And every time you're like, okay, yeah, here they go. They're going to post again. You know this is going to happen. But then my dad passed, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's thousands of memories. Yeah. And they're good. I have all the bad memories, too. Like
those ones will fade.
They're just bad memories, but they're not.
They'll fade.
They're not.
Or the badness of them will fade. They will turn into just memories like anything. That's what it is. Yeah, the trauma goes away.
There's a guy on this. He was on the Zoom. There was a video slideshow, and he was like talking about my dad. And he's like, Harry's very argumentative. He liked to argue with people. He likes. And I was like,
you tell Caribbean people to say a few words.
Here's the quality that my dad passed on to me is argumentative. It's funny.
In my 1-star review, they also said I was argumentative.
Oh, look at that, Larry. But that's okay.
I refer to that review all the time. I'm like, yeah, in my 1-star review.
In my 1-star review.
I was also referred to as a know-it-all. An argumentative know-it-all. So when I read those 2 words, I'm like, oh, she was wrong about something.
I also did a 5-star review of you and put the exact same thing.
Did you? That's hilarious. That's good quality. She's argumentative.
I should do it. She's argumentative and she knows it all.
Oh.
5 stars.
Oh, June said that you don't understand it. Yeah, June just went through it. Miss June. You haven't seen you in a long time. That's Keandra's mom.
Yeah. Hi, June. Yeah.
Auntie June.
So yeah, that's.
It's true.
It's 100%. It's true.
Let's move on to the scroll.
Oh look, Auntie Mary. Hi, Auntie. Auntie Mary. This is Nilo.
Hi.
Nilo, Auntie Mary.
Hello.
That's funny.
So, should we just start with Jada and the Smiths?
Okay, wait. Okay. So we're on to the next part of our segment. So this part of the segment is what has happened up to now, and we're kind of catching up. Now we didn't finish, so let's not skip over the
don't
things.
Rush.
There's so much things.
Happy birthday, LaShawn.
Happy birthday, LaShawn. Smiley face.
Happy birthday, Ruva. That was yesterday.
Happy birthday, Ruva. Happy birthday, Naraya, my son.
Happy birthday, Naraya.
Yeah, he turned a big 10.
I can't believe LaShawn
digits.
is a Leo, like an August baby. That makes me treat him more. It's going to make me treat him differently.
Nashawn?
No, LaShawn.
It's not August, it's June.
It's still Leo, though. We've crossed over.
Oh, we crossed over?
I believe
on the
so.
21st?
I believe, yeah, that's the
Yeah, I think 21st. Yeah, I'm not really...
Yes. You're like, yeah, the 21st. I'm like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
man.
I really have no clue.
I'm not. I don't remember, but
not really.
It is a cuspy time.
The signs kind of guy.
I get it.
I know my sign. I know other people's sign, but I don't know what it means. And oftentimes, I guess it's accurate. I guess, but I think it has a lot to do with what happened during the process of making
gestation.
that child.
And
then after that, we've talked about that, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
And also, I don't know why people would think that the moon can pull the ocean, and we're 80% water. Why would it not affect us?
That I believe in. That is science.
That is called science. What is the rest of the catch up? I don't want to.
Oh man!
What else we got?
Oh wow! So
Shepapalooza. No, we talked about Shepapalooza.
We had Shepapalooza where the Bliss Band rocked it.
It was excellent.
It was great. After that, we had Sanaya's graduation.
Yeah.
Right here at Aphrodisiac.
That's true.
It was
My
great.
daughter is now a high school graduate, which is weird. I'm now the mother of a high school graduate.
Yes. Look at you.
Free as a bird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really, but kind of. I'm like, now I have to think about like life for her. Like,
yeah, we can even talk about the story about her trying to get her driver's license and the debacle.
I do not want to visit that.
You don't want to visit?
Absolutely not. It was so terrible.
I'm going to briefly touch on it. The debacle was there was a rent-a-car involved in it. They didn't give us the registration, and it crashed and burned because the rental company did not do that.
Yeah.
So
we couldn't do anything at all. Because they didn't have registration.
Very frustrating.
They didn't put registration in the car.
First of all, I don't know if you all know this.
Why would you not put registration in the car?
We
thought it was in there. I don't understand how that's even an accurate response.
Here in Alberta, there's another part to this. So here in Alberta, in wintertime, we put sand and rocks on the snow. So we have trucks that spit out sand to give you grip on the ice and the snow. It also melts the snow. We've been using it for years and years. We used it instead of salt because salt combined with the snow
erodes your car faster.
And the alkalinity of it erodes your car and rusts it out
oxidizes you. Yeah,
100%. So we chose here in Alberta to do it as sand. With the new mayors and everything that's come on, they have been instituting salt back in with the mixture of the sand.
Oh wow!
Yeah, a lot of people did not know this.
I thought there was that blue stuff they were using,
which is all salt.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like all salt. So they spray this blue stuff now, but now they've added in with the sand, so it's not all salt. So what ends up happening is in the summertime, in the spring, when the snow melts and the ice melts and everything like that, you have all these rocks and sand everywhere. And our cars are spitting, as we change tires to the summer tires, they're now throwing these rocks up. And so almost every car has a chip or a crack. Which if you're going for your driver's test,
you have to use a car with no crack in the windshield.
A 100% off the lot, brand new car.
Which is how we got to the rental.
Yeah, because nobody had a vehicle that could lend her that had no chip or crack in the windshield.
So Tania does. So Sanai has to practice on Tania's vehicle now.
Practice? Tania should probably leave her vehicle pristine for the real McCoy.
Yeah. Don't drive it.
Don't drive it, Tania. At all.
It's true.
It's such a crazy thing. I was like, When
You
she
know,
told me,
it was really upsetting for me because one of the things as a parent that you want to do is remove the barriers that are in front of your children.
Mhm.
And there's a time, I don't know if any black parents have faced this before, but there's a time where you come up against a part where she's a black female and I'm a black female, and I cannot penetrate that barrier that's standing in front of her.
Right.
So one of the problems when I say it like that, and people are like, ah, but when I say it like that, when we walked into the place, they were like, no, you can't take it with a rental car. Like, and we were like, what? And so it took somebody else in the back who was kind of used to seeing us, because, you know, here in Alberta, you have to like maintain all these relationships in order to get treated like a human being.
wow.
So somebody in the back was like, oh, there's no specific rule against that. It's just something that they're working on because there's like some insurance gaps and stuff and they can't quite figure out what to do about that. So I'm like, okay. So what I said to the lady is that I said, what I really need from you is for you to be a facilitator and not a gatekeeper right now. And she's like, excuse me, what's that supposed to mean? Like, going off. I'm like, no, it was pretty direct. Like, don't tell me what I can't do. Tell me what I can do to further the process.
Right, 100%.
So even it was like hurdles, guy. It was like hurdle after hurdle, and then in the end, it got me. Like me standing there being like, yeah, I need this thing that you failed on, and they're just not trusting me because I'm standing there with dreadlocks down to my butt. You know what I mean? Like, just and in a hurry. So
yeah, it was
rough.
It was rough, but it's one of the things that Black Multiverse Theory has been dealing with since day one. It's the things that we talk about, and that's the struggles of maneuvering through everyday life.
Yeah, here in Alberta.
And
here
Canada. Here in Canada. Here in the world.
Here in the world.
As a black person.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with it. And some people are like, well, what does that have to do with being black? The fact of the matter is, every struggle that came in,
benefit of the doubt. That's what it has to do with being black.
Yeah,
benefit of the doubt is so much easier.
That we're trying to
scab the people,
pull one over on them. Even our own black people do the exact same.
Absolutely. It's just, if you're in that position, are you going to be a gatekeeper or are you going to be a facilitator? And that's it. You're either facilitating or you're gatekeeping.
Yeah.
There's no middle of the road. If you're in the middle of the road, then you're freaking gatekeeping.
Yeah. And so being a gatekeeper works in certain platforms, but not all the time. And sometimes it's not your job. Especially, for instance, one thing that we discussed before, at a restaurant. If you're at a restaurant and you're a waitress, you're supposed to be a facilitator.
Right.
So if we have COVID rules now and you're not allowed to touch my my glass, don't tell me you're not allowed to touch my glass.
Tell me what you're allowed to do.
Say, hey, I will bring you what you want and bring you a new glass.
I can't touch that. Okay, ma'am. Like, there needs to be COVID customer service training.
I love it. So they won't touch it, but then they'll come and clear off your plates that you've been
clearly
eating
have to
over,
clear the table,
and you have to
and
clean
it's not
the table.
trash.
No gloves.
Like, you have to go and wash it.
Okay. So it's just things like that.
Yeah.
Things like that need to be taught. Mm-hmm. And that brings us
to the scroll.
From there to the scroll. So
we have to have a special edition to talk about the canoe trip. And I feel like it has to be a round table, because even up to last night, they were talking about the canoe trip. And I was like,
hold up. For those people who are watching and don't know what we're talking about, we are both also part of Melanistic Magazine.
Yeah.
We're founders with Melanistic Magazine. Our magazine is a free magazine that shows the greatest parts of the black community, and it shows all media of the black community that is relevant. Mm-hmm. We try to stay on the positive.
And we also know that black is not a monolith. So when we're talking about the black community, we are talking about the diversity inside of the black community.
Right. So we decided this edition has a lot of adventure going with it, and it's going to be a great edition for people to read. It's going to be a great read. We have a lot more articles, a lot more pages, So it's great. So one of the things that happened was we had a series of events that we all had to attend and go to and write about them and discuss them and kind of talk about pricing and what it was like.
It was
and
the
give
most
tips.
debacle magazine that we have produced. Like
Debacle.
it was all these debacles. Yeah,
I
that's what it felt like.
I guess. Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
Not
Just
in a
to
bad way,
like,
no.
we said adventure, and that's we got what we signed up for.
Yeah. We definitely signed up for
I don't want to tell the story. I definitely want everybody around to tell the story because
So what we'll do is next week we'll invite the people to talk.
okay, fine. I'm gonna talk to Janelle about getting Aisha here too.
Okay. And then if we do that, when do we have the do we know when we'll have the copy?
We'll have it by then. I think we go to Prince over the weekend or something.
All right. So I'm hoping that we have a copy of the magazine ready to print for you, and we can discuss the things in the magazine.
Yeah.
And all the people that are watching, you are not only going to be able to get the physical copy if you come to Aphrodisiac or if you get it, but you'll also be able to see that online for free at melanisticmagazine.com.
You can also sign up to get a subscription if you want the physical copies
100.
to collect them, obviously. You can also support us on Patreon. We have some gear, some swag going out to people. And also, I kind of cheat a little bit. So for Aphrodisiac, if you order online, you will get a copy of the magazine with your order.
Boom.
So I usually ship it out.
So that's what you want to do. You want to get, both of us have natural hair. So with Aphrodisiac, it specializes in aphrodisiac for those of you who are on here for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you need hair products, order them on aphrodisiacnaturals.com.
Mm-hmm.
And once you go on there, we'll slip in a copy of the magazine into your order when we send it out. So don't forget to order. The stuff is amazing. It makes your hair luxurious.
Mm-hmm. More luxurious. It brings out the luxury.
It brings out the luxury. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It sure does. My hair was dry and sappy. And what ended up happening is when I put the stuff in my hair. Now, remember, it's all organic,
mm-hmm.
and it's all made
artisan,
right in the lab here. There are no artificial
stuff. Can't say anymore that it's handmade by me, but it is artisan handmade.
It's artisan handmade. So then I put it in my hair, and my hair was like, oh, wow. Nigel, why have you been doing this to us? Why have you been doing this for so long? Why have you not given this to us? It was great. My hair started to grow. So, anyways, with the adventure, next week we'll talk about the adventures. We'll talk about the drama. There's a lot of drama
of Black Multiverse
with it. There was even drama with the horseback riding one. There's just drama. And then even the one that I did where we went on a hike, that was the day that my dad passed.
Yeah.
That day. And then I got the call on the drive there. We were almost there, and I got the call and had to kind of call all these family members. So we'll talk about it and update you. We'll have a special Melanistic Mag
Adventure edition.
Adventure episode
of the Black Multiverse Theory Podcast next week.
Yes.
I like how we just put that together.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
we could get Sherald to make those drinks.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah. No.
I'm ready for the scroll like so bad.
There's drinks. There are drinks in the magazine, cocktails and stuff like that people like. And Shaw makes really good blends of both version of the same drink and then the spiked version of that same drink. So it would be great. It would be great to show that. Wow, we have some people on tonight, so it's good.
Yeah, back to Tuesdays.
This
is our regular Tuesday flex. It's so nice to be here.
It is so good to be here on Tuesday night. So, in the news, before things get too crazy,
yeah,
are we going to talk about the thing?
Entanglement?
Are we gonna go to entangle? Are we gonna entangle this?
Let's start with that. That's right. The other day I said entanglement, like entanglement theory, and you know what it made me think of? Actually, I was like, maybe that's what she meant when she said entanglement. Like when she's saying entanglement, knowing the Smith family, maybe she's meaning it on like, because we were all having
entanglement theory.
So entanglement theory is a theory that states that when two, I'm going to use the wrong words. I'm going to be like molecules and people are going to be like atoms. So let's call them particles, right? When two particles are made by the same energy source, like the same explosion or whatever.
Are you talking about quantum entanglement?
Yeah. Then they're entangled over time and space and distance. Whatever happens to one, the other one feels.
Particles is actually the correct term.
I did say particles.
Yeah, it actually is. So okay. You did good. You did good on that one. They're not going to come for you this one.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if she meant it in that deep way, where it was an entanglement where she felt like she's like maybe through this love they're like together forever,
deeply
connected,
deep.
So I don't know if you guys remember this, but in 2014 deep. When did she say that started? 2015?
She said 2014 and
it was in 2015. Okay, so pretty much what happened was Willow and Jaden brought August home, and he was like, they were like, this is our friend August, and he is sick, he needs help. Right?
I like how the Smith family brings people home like wounded pets.
Yeah, they need our help.
We found this bird and it needs our help.
And August was on the brink of a lawsuit because he had rearranged a young woman's insides with his penis. Whole womb area section. Mm-hmm. Ruptured? I believe he had ruptured her womb with his penis. Yes. So he was also, I think, suffering from lupus, and from what I also understand, that he was abusing Percocets. Mm-hmm. And so here comes Willow and Jaden like, Mom, this is our friend August. He's 20 years younger than you.
He needs help.
Right. Now Will and Jada are broken up.
They're going through marital disruption.
Right. So Will's saying that he believes he will never speak to Jada again.
Right.
So they're like, F you. They're on their own side of things.
Of the house. Because they always believe. They always have spoken this. Now they've spoken this on Oprah as a family, that no matter what's happening, Will be on his side of the house with whomever. She'll be on the other side with August. With whomever. And because it could be Enrique.
Okay, sure.
Jennifer Lopez.
I don't know.
Whatever, because that came out first with Jada.
Really?
This is the second time I've heard of Jada in this.
In this entanglement.
In this entanglement, she gets, you know, cords. Sometimes you put the cords down and you go to pick it up, and it's always wrapped around something. You're like
tangled,
entangled. How did you do this?
So tangled, it is entangled.
Entangled.
So, there's a couple of things about it. The story that I do have to say are troubling for me specifically.
Okay.
One of the things that's troubling is that Jada is in, there's like it's a unfair power dynamic, right? Like August is at the behest of this family because he's come to them for help, and he's in a dire situation, and even Will is helping as well, because she's saying, oh, Will and I got our resources together, and she's saying we helped him. So it's a family affair helping this kid. So
yeah,
that's the first and foremost. Like, there's this person in a vulnerable situation, and it feels icky that she would get involved and into a sexual relationship with that kid.
Well, I think from what I'm hearing, And people are like, well, she preyed on him to get to that point. But what happened was they're getting him help.
Right.
And she's checking in on him to see how the help is going.
Right.
And then they start talking about life, and they start talking about this. And
now she's broken up with Will.
So she's talking to him about, her marriage and blah, blah, blah. And this young thing.
It's just, there's boundaries that I feel like she shouldn't have crossed.
And I think you're right. You're right. It happens to a lot of people.
So the other thing that's disturbing about it is that August Alsina has a background of having been abused by an older woman.
Yeah, he has
when he was younger,
abuse.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that also makes me feel icky about it. And then the last thing that makes me feel icky about it is that Jada never stopped the relationship. He completely cut off ties with her. So he obviously felt like this is toxic for me and severed everything, right? Because he realized that she's not. She's literally in and out with him and pretty much using him, right? So he severs the thing completely because he's not feeling good with it or whatever. And then
they reconcile. Her and Will reconcile.
When she's at this red table with Will, she's not acknowledging that it was fucked up for her to have crossed those boundaries. She's not acknowledging that there's a power dynamic, that she is not acknowledging that she broke his trust.
Okay.
But she's using all this healing language.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like she's
You said she broke his trust. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think that when you get into a situation with somebody who is you're responsible for in that way, even though the thing is that he has this past that's kind of with the having been abused by an older woman, so it would be up to her to be I'm not gonna violate this thing. And even if he's showing that this is a thing that he wants, it kind of has to be up to her because she's in the power position to be no, you don't really want this.
And then if she decides that she also wants this thing,
that's the thing.
That is the thing, isn't
right?
It? So
you can't get involved with somebody else to make yourself feel good, which is what she said. I was involved with him because helping him was making her feel wanted and needed.
There are so many people in this world that do that exact same thing.
I know.
So
I know a guy who that's how he picks up girls. He does the wounded bird. That's what I call him. He'll bang the door into his tray if he's getting fast food. If there's a cute girl coming, she's "Oh, are you okay?" And then he works from that spot.
See, and that's everybody has their icebreaker, I guess.
He's a Capricorn.
But the funny thing about this entanglement is everybody's looking at Will's reaction to it.
Yeah, he's gritting his teeth, and then he goes.
And I think they're at a spot now where it looks like they have spoken about this. This is not a surprise for any of these two individuals, right? And they have a relationship with this young man, and they have a nickname for him. They're Og, and Og was at the house, and Og was this. Meanwhile, Og's hurt, hurt.
True.
And he literally ghosted her and fell off the map and was I never want to talk to this woman again, because I feel that he was falling deeply and sorely for her, and she was looking for a fling,
a cuck.
Yeah, and so she ended up getting what she wanted. But I'm pretty sure if this man didn't ghost her, she'd still be there.
100%.
Yeah,
I think so too.
So there you have it.
There you have it.
The entangled world.
It has been so long since I felt good. I mean, so long.
That's what she said.
Okay,
this guy, the destroyer.
Where was
Yeah, he was.
I'm like, oh, okay, you're all right.
Yeah, he's not doing so good with that one.
Goodness gracious.
She's like, an entanglement, Jenna? An entanglement?
You had a relationship.
Say it how it really is. So tell the people what that is.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
I want to see her at the table with Ayanla. I feel like that's the red table I deserve. You know who Ayanla is?
No.
She's that black unhealed healer therapist lady.
Oh, yes.
Who
I know
be
her.
shouting at people.
Just yelling at people.
That's what I want to see at this red table with Jada.
If you don't calm
she'd
down.
be like, beloved. Beloved.
She's rough.
Oh my goodness. She'd make Jada bury the relationship in the ground.
That's hilarious. The funny thing,
fix my life. Exactly. That's the one we deserve.
we have a lot of things that happened during our time.
Yeah.
We did talk about Band-Aid coming out with the new Black and Brown.
Yeah, we did.
And we did talk about not going to Band-Aid, but going to the other company.
The Black One Company, yeah.
Right.
We sure did.
But did we talk about the first black woman-owned skateboard company?
No. Does she make longboards?
She makes all types of boards, it says.
Okay.
And really, she's an artist herself, so she does most of the graphics on the bottom of the board. And she really, her name is Toshias Gnarly. So you can follow her on.
Sorry, I'm just now seeing it. I finally clued into where I have to be. Cheryl said she used several big words to describe penis: entanglement, penis; healing, penis; feel good, penis.
Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks. Yes, she
said she was getting dicky with it. True. Now I know I have to be to get the jokes.
So
that girl looks like me from here. From here, I do need glasses.
How about from here? You know what? Your skin tone is the same, and you have very similar teeth.
From far away.
From far, but as you look closer.
Oh no, she doesn't look like me at all. From far away, I said.
Okay, all right.
Like my
clone. Madeline Swagel.
Mm-hmm.
She is the U.S. Navy's first black female fighter pilot.
That's dope. I always wanted to be a fighter pilot. I wanted to fly F-14.
Loving it. So she's there. I got that one early July, and been wanting to put it out there for her. So shout out to
congratulations
Madeline.
Definitely
big
deal. Do you know what's going on in Portland now with this Trump administration, people?
So what's happening?
Apparently, in Portland, the military is like out on the Portland streets, kidnapping protesters in unmarked cars and doing all kind of weird, illegal KGB stuff. And and people are like, oh, it just starts with Portland because the actual military is there, and they're like, they just want to start with Portland and then move these military into cities, and they're thinking that maybe they'll do that like election time to like sway it, you know?
Yeah, well, they'll have to, because
they're gonna have to do something.
They're gonna have to do something to
steal the shit out of that election.
Well, they did the first time very easily.
Yeah.
And so the second time they're gonna do it again.
Checks and balances my foot.
Well, they'll figure it out.
I think it is figured out.
The first time, a lot of black people voted for Trump as well. They looked at him on The Apprentice, because we do tend to look at entertainment and how people are. Ronald Reagan, an example, a famous actor who became president for Republicans again. And then you have Donald Trump, who seems to have all these businesses and seems to still have money. So people are like, wow, this is great. He had his own show, which brought him back into the limelight.
But it wasn't black people who put him there. It's like, it was white women. in the percentages.
There's definitely a lot of white women in there, but
Yeah,
I'm talking
the percentage was hoy.
There's a lot of black people.
There was too many. Too many. Too many black people
voted for him to go in there. And I said to my buddy, and I said, listen, putting this guy in there is only going to be trouble. He's an idiot. Like, you can see he's an idiot on The Apprentice.
Right.
You expect him, they're like, yeah, that's what we need to run this country and get the budget back. How do you expect to get the budget
Actually,
back?
there's me and my Netflix documentaries. There is one about Trump and what a fraud he is, like the whole thing, and about how when Apprentice came around, like he was upside down in his situation, and
His
they
situation
literally
was rough.
Yeah, and they literally made this thing into
third
a TV
bankruptcy or
show.
something.
It was rough, yeah. And actually, the Supreme Court said that this time. Oh, look at the rainbow! This time, his bad man no look at no rainbow. That's what you're gonna say?
No, I'm gonna say we're still on air.
I know, but
nobody
it's so
there can
beautiful.
see the.
Sorry, y'all. It's very beautiful. Damn, it's my total lost.
Rainbow. Take a look. It's in a book.
I'm like,
It's
squirrel.
reading rainbow.
Totally lost my train of thought. But in any case, they built up this whole TV thing, and then there he was. But
yeah, you said his thing was upside down.
yeah.
You said that he was heading for
Oh, the
failure.
Supreme Court said that his taxes have to be released this go around. So
Wow.
we're gonna see what happens.
Wow.
They essentially can't keep hiding them. Like
You can't keep dodging.
Nope.
So yeah, he's probably replaced his whole administration like 2 times over at least at this point.
2, sometimes 3. And Mary Trump just released a book roasting his ass, apparently. But for me, the Trumps have made too much money off the backs of black people for me to take my little pesos. But I'll try and find if I may be able to get it PDF online. And there's some black people who are reading it.
Yes, Dave.
On YouTube. So I will consume it somehow. I just
like
want
it.
somebody to tell me about it. I don't really want to read it. I just want them to tell me what the key parts are.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Are we moving?
Moving on up. I feel like we have so much to talk about in the scroll, but it's okay. We can keep it moving.
In the scroll? Well, we had those 2 highlights in the scroll. Then we have COVID is still happening.
It's
in the
still
scroll.
in the streets. It's gone up. It's gone up. We went down to the 30s. We're in the hundreds or something.
People are monopolizing on the COVID situation. So there's a lot of masks being distributed.
Yeah.
First masks were going for like $80-something.
What?
Now Walmart has 2 for $6 in a pack. $6 in a pack.
That happened fast.
Very fast.
The capitalists were like, we're gonna sell more.
We're gonna just sell a bunch.
A lot.
Yeah. So we have that
Still happening.
still going.
Let me tell you guys
on.
about this NDP meeting I went to yesterday.
Hey, yeah, tell us about it. Was it private?
So it was not private. So the NDP has invited ethnic media to this round table.
Hey.
A round table to me is not a press conference, but that's essentially what it was.
You're gonna be on TV.
No, they want us to put them on TV and whatever they said. For me, it was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. And then, of course, Greg was like, so this is cool and everything. Like, you have us here. How are you going to, like, support independent? Why? Is there something in my toes? No? How are you going to support independent media? And they're like, oh, well, we can't. Essentially, like, in order for us to support independent media, then that would make it independent anymore. And the more and more I thought about it, I feel like ethnic media, a better name for ethnic media is media. Number 1. I feel like the fact that you have a whole separate ethnic media situation, like you're not treating melanistic the same way you're treating the Edmonton Journal or the Edmonton Sun or CBC or CTV, it always puts us in a different position. Like, what's with that segregation? Like, what's up with that? That's number one. However, the samosas were excellent. That's number two. The guy did say they were the best samosas in the city.
Samosas?
They were Punjabi, yeah. They said that they were the best samosas in the city. I'm going to have to agree that they were the best samosas I've had so far in the city. Punjabi Palace.
Wow, that's rough.
The other thing is that a way that the politicians can support us is a thing that they do, and David Shepard has done it, and that is buy an ad. Like, okay, this is this is all the stuff you want to say to our readership. You know what you can do? Figure out how much money it will take to buy that ad.
Yep.
And additionally, like, it just feels like if it was the Edmonton Journal, the Edmonton Sun, that's what the NDP would do. They would take out their wallets to buy an ad. They brought quote unquote ethnic media into a room so that we could just be happy that we were at the table. Like, sitting at the table. They were saying real media stuff that I was like, gonna jot that down, Google it, and we will have that next time. They're like, the media box is there, so if you have an XLR cable, you can just hook your thing up there. I'm like, yeah, no, we're just gonna do photos today. What's a media box? So, so that's how I felt. Like, hilarious. That's how I felt. I felt like, number one, if you want us to like print these things instead of just having us be excited to be able to be allowed to be in this room, which I was, pay for the ad. You like, I'm not going to report on this. I have very excellent pictures of Rachel Notley though. But realistically, like, okay, so what you're saying is UPC is effing us up. Okay, we know this. What can we do about it? Call your MLA. Even if your MLA is not PC, even if it's liberal or PC or NDP or whoever, engage with your MLA and tell your MLA what you want to see. Write letters about policy change. The other thing is that when I asked a question about including Black Albertans and the history of multicultural Albertans into the school curriculum, they talked about teaching about systemic racism. But I'm not talking about teaching systemic racism. I'm talking about the systemic racism that exists that causes this erasure of history that continually makes Black people and Black Canadians and Black people in Canada feel detached from the country, even if you were born here. So that was what she was like. She did go through this detailed plan about what they wanted to do in terms of teaching systemic racism year by year. But I'm like, okay, but how about like undoing the systemic racism?
And for those people listening that have an issue with systemic racism and think there is no systemic racism,
right?
It's very important that we all know the difference. Now, in the Black Multiverse Theory, we often put definitions of things on there, or we put posts of people who are defining certain things. But everybody needs to know, systemic racism isn't isn't stating that everybody in the system is racist. What it is stating is if you took everybody out of the system is still geared
right to a certain way
to have minorities lose,
right,
or not succeed at the same rate as a non-minority. So you have to really think about that, because even if there's nobody in the system and the system ran by itself on its own,
no matter who you put in there, that's why it's difficult to fix the police system, because police as it exists currently is a system that is born out of white supremacy and patrolling and slave patrols, essentially. Also, I find it not ironic, that every year we're talking about cutting teachers' salaries and cutting teachers, and every year we're talking about cutting nurses' salaries and cutting nurses. But it's hard to defund the police. Why is it so hard to defund the police? Because most of the police officers are white men. Like, to be honest with you, in terms of nursing and teaching, A, they're female-led occupations, and B, there's a lot of multiculturalism in the doctors, in the nurses, and in the and in teachers. So the people who get, like, let's talk about that, like the systems that are getting cut, or the systems who are largely female based and have people of color majority in it. There's a reason why daycares went back before schools. Like, look at who daycare workers are versus who educators are, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's the stuff.
So well, I'm happy that you were able to voice any of your opinions too.
It wasn't about my opinion. It was like a press conference. So she just said whatever she said, and then we asked whatever we asked. So we asked that, and then I listened to her. And now, as far as they know, I'm supposed to come back and be like, repeat what she said. But the thing about this media company that we run, which is Black Multiverse and Melanistic Magazine as well, is that we are analyzing the actual groundwater of the systems that we're critiquing and like what is the energy that goes into that.
Right.
So
yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
What do we got? LeVar's
over there.
Yeah, LeVar's over here. He had mentioned before. Hey, Johnny Depp. He had mentioned before that Bernie Sanders won the election for Trump. Laugh out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes,
they should have picked Bernie instead of Hillary last year.
He goes, have you all seen the new police station? Which is funny because congratulations to Jana. They have bought the land right next to that police station that they have there.
Okay.
Which is
right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Shout out to Robert Tyndale, who just joined up from Jana, PR for Jana. So that's right there by that police station. And shout out to Aisha. Nice. Okay, great. And Patricia is on right now.
Cool.
So, shout out to all the people that are jumping on now.
Let's move it along.
We're going to move it out along. We just finished the scroll. We talked about getting entangled and detangled. If you're in an entanglement right now, word of advice.
This new moon that just passed away mashed up all the entanglements out there. Sheesh. Take time. This new moon was like, take time. That's what the new moon said.
Treat all the people around you right.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
Treat them nicely, please.
Yeah.
All right. On to the screen.
The screen.
So,
when do we do upcoming events after the screen and in your ears? Okay. I'm just catch me up real quick.
That's funny. So scroll. For those of you who don't know, season 2 is here. So, and in season 1, we've always gone through what we've done. The catch up. Then we go into the scroll. Mm-hmm. Then we go into the screen, which is talking about what's on TV and what we're watching and what we recommend and what we do not recommend. Mm-hmm. And then we go into
what's in your ears.
The calendar.
Ears and then calendar. Then the word.
Yes, what's in your ears and then calendar.
And then the word.
So right now we're on the screen. So there's been a lot of things on the screen that have come up. And
what have you been watching?
The people are watching and getting ready to watch a bunch of stuff. So before we had this little break, we were watching Snowpiercer.
You definitely were.
I definitely was watching Snowpiercer, which was
sold.
Mind-boggling when it came down to the end of that series. It was like, really? Okay, that's what we're doing.
That was a lot of investment. I was like, you're gonna stick in it. He's like, I'm gonna see it to the end.
Yeah, that's the thing about me. No matter how terrible it is,
you want to get to the end.
I gotta get to the end to tell you that it's terrible.
Not me. I'm like,
and
nope.
Sometimes it's rare. But sometimes it switches up on you and it recovers itself because they switch writers or this, different things happen. Each character has an individual writer that writes for them, sort of thing. Mm. And each episode definitely has a writer and a director moving it into the area that you want it to go. Mm-hmm. So for Snowpiercer, it started out a little bit rough. And then it
ended rough.
It ended very rough. Yeah, it ended a little bit rough. It was pretty good though. In the middle there, you're like, what's happening?
Consistent.
So at the end, there was a huge halt and a huge move and a switch in power that was like amazingly huge.
Okay.
So it was really great.
They at the end they were like, F all this, F everything that you've
So if you
to.
watch Snowpiercer the movie, it is not the same show.
No.
It is
based on.
It has a train, and the train has saved the world. That's the commonality between them. That's it. So there's that. Also on the screen, for those of you watching the 100, that's in its last season, and I love the 100. I love how it's gone from season to season.
Now that it's in the last season, I'll start.
You follow a bunch of characters that are at the beginning terrible, and then in the middle they're terrible. And I'm not talking about their acting. Their acting is great. I'm not talking about the story, but the characters. You're the
character of the character.
Right when you invest in a character, and you're like, that's the hero. That character does something crazy.
Flawed.
The
characters are flawed.
There's one character that I was following, and I loved him. I was like, oh, so you left this girl to be with this girl? Because you thought that other girl would never make it down here onto the planet. So he set a whole new relationship.
Wow.
Did not tell the other girl.
Wow. Then here she come.
Yeah, the other girl's an engineer. Built herself a rocket.
Wow.
And shot herself down.
Wow. And there she is with this other girl.
And then somehow, some way,
come
around to like the third season or something, he literally loses his mind. Just loses it. So there's a lot of people get killed. A lot of black people get killed. A lot of black people come up and rise up, and there's a couple black villains, and there's quite a few black heroes that you're gonna really invest in and dig deep with those people, and they're gonna be like, yes, I hope this person happens. But in the end, you're really hoping that people get killed. You're like rooting for. Oh, I hope
death on you.
I hope this person. But it's that type of show. It's just savage.
My daughter started watching it and told me to watch it. I think it's in the 5th season now.
Yeah. Imagine
literally 5 years
Lord
ago.
of the Flies meets space.
Meets Mockingjay.
No,
it's not like that.
No. They start in a spaceship.
Right.
Right, and then Lord of the Flies, they get sent down to Earth, and they build their own colony there, and then they have to deal with all sorts of stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff that they deal with. Then they adopt a new crew with who they find on the Earth still, and then now they're traveling. It's just an amazing show. So that show I recommend as well. Fatal Affair is out with Nia Long and Omar Epps.
Did you watch it?
I have not.
Oh. I have been watching the most recent documentary that I just finished. Did I tell you about Epstein?
You did talk about Epstein.
So, into real life, is Ghislaine Maxwell has been taken into custody. They said that
I saw that on the news.
Yeah, so they're thinking about releasing the names that were implicated.
Ooh.
Apparently, the judge who is overlooking the case, her husband was shot to death and her son was shot by a man in a delivery outfit. So they're saying that her trial is set for, get this, 2021. She's gonna be suicided way before then. Well before then.
They gotta keep her on lock and key.
Well, let me tell you that they're gonna get that lady, but I want to see those court documents. That's what I'm invested in.
Yeah, I mean, the Epstein thing is rough, and it shows us that these people have been acting, and they're kind of the worst of us. Like they're like the worst. You get to see the worst of humanity in people like this, and you're like, wow, these people exist.
But those people, those rich and famous people, they are living in a whole different world. That's why when I watch it August and those kids bringing home August, I'm like, I don't even know what kind of situation that is. If they brought home people for their mom before, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's all this weird operating procedure that is not normal for the rest of us.
When you look at the Smith family, they're on a different bracket.
Totally.
Will Smith has been doing videos from his garage. His garage is about the size of my whole house.
That's this whole building.
His garage is there, and he's like, yeah, I got this poster in my garage and this poster. And can you believe Jaden did this and he put this in my garage? And I was like, really? Like, really?
Yeah.
He had a deer in his backyard the other day, jumping and frolicking in his backyard. And I'm like, and he's like, look,
totally
there's
different.
a deer.
Yeah. So I watched that recently. I started watching Dark because specifically Shane Hall was like, yo, Dark, if you like sci-fi, which I do, is the biggest mind F of like any of the sci-fis up there. You have to watch it. So I was like, okay, bet. I'm going to put it on my list. And then my homeboy Vinny, shout out to Vincent, was like, there's two kinds of people. People who were confused by season 3 of Dark and liars. But the other guy, Shane, was definitely said that you have to go back and watch it more than once. You can't be distracted. Like, he wrote all these, like, okay, so here's Dark and here's the subtitle. Like, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, you cannot do this. So I have started it, but I am creeping through it.
I've been watching also The Protector. And The Protector, the reason I started watching it is because I've never seen a show where the hero of the show is from Istanbul and they're trying to save they're trying to save Istanbul. Istanbul is like the epicenter of this whole thing, and they're trying to save Istanbul. Most action it's either you're in England, they're trying to save the UK, or they're trying to save America.
Yeah, but Netflix is showing us all these from other places shows, and that show is really from Turkey. Like, they have all the music and stuff.
Yeah, it's honestly, I enjoy it. Like, the subtitles and the dubbed over voices that don't match the lips. It's actually,
between the two of them, you could get a decent, accurate description of what's going on.
Yeah,
they're not the same. It's more like an average.
It's close, but it's just not.
It does require. It's more mental work than regular TV watching. That's for sure. What are you listening to? What's in your ears?
In my ears, to be honest, in my ears, I have a combination of a series of worship songs and then my own soca song at the same time.
Wow.
So
what a time to announce it.
Yeah. So I'm working on a soca song right in time for Kara West here.
August 8th. This is our calendar coming up, but go ahead, tell about the soca song.
Yeah, so the soca song is called I'm in Love with Soca. And me and the infamous Uzila.
Okay.
Shadows Barrow.
I thought you were going to say infamous Bliss.
Uzila and I are working on it for Bliss, for sure. And so, we're working on the different parts for it, and putting it together has really been cool. And even meeting has been hard, but it's been pretty cool. So that's what's been happening.
All right.
That's what's in my ears. What's in your ears?
I've gone back to soca. I've been listening to some 2020, but I've been listening to a lot of the older years and the older soca, which you don't hear me say too much. I'm definitely getting ready for Carrie West, but yes.
Nice. Okay. And then the we're right here.
Calendar.
We're in the upcoming calendar.
Okay, so August 8th is Carrie West. It's an online Lime. So you'll be able to go online and hang out online for that. July 26th, this weekend, actually Sunday. You can catch me. I think Greg will be out there. I'm not sure if you're coming by. But there's a Black owned market, YEG, at Habisha Market. And it's collective. It is a very grassroots market. A lot of hands went into the pot. They've been really amazing at giving me a lot of credit, but to be honest with you, they have mobilized faster than I can think. I get lost many times. They have somebody on everything, somebody for everything, and they're very well organized. Like, they definitely have, it's like a swarm of a team working that project. So I'm excited. I'm not going to be there vending, but I will be there. So I'm excited to be there. If you see me, stop me. Sometimes I'm so sorry. I interact with you, but I might not like press the button to see what you look like, or I might look at your page and not recognize you IRL. So if you see me and you know me, say what's up. I have my camera out taking pictures of everybody's stuff and taking pictures of everybody.
Right.
Well, okay. And then after that, we're actually currently working on Numo Alley, the Aphrodisiac Market, which will be August 29th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Numo Alley. I actually have to give Daniel a call. But we are actively working on that as well. But all of that information will come out once Black owned market has their market. We definitely don't want to cannibalize one with the other one. And then you'll be having more information. But you can always reach out to Melanistic Magazine if that's something that you want to be a part of. So those are the next 3 big things that I think of are coming up.
Huge.
Yeah, big time. And I think we're going to have another beach day next week sometime. It's supposed to be 27 degrees and sunny.
Beach days are the greatest.
Yeah, so I felt like it was very healing. I didn't do anything and nobody expected anything of me. I just laid there and ate.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Naraya's birthday party.
What'd you do?
Well, he said, Dad, I want to go to combat archery. And that's a place where they have bow and arrows with the arrow has like a sponge on the end, so you shoot it and then it hits the person. And then
okay,
so
cool.
you're shooting people.
Okay, with bows and arrows. And then there's one. So the first time I took them there, it was combat archery with bows and arrows. The second time I took them there, they're like, no, there's no bow and arrow this time. There's only Nerf guns. So it was all Nerf guns. So we all took Nerf guns and we were just pop, 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 pop. But they didn't get back to us about their COVID policies and if they're opening up to the public or if we can go in. And we needed them to get back to us by a certain time, and nobody called us back. So it was looking like we weren't going to end up doing anything. And then I was like, I went to Charlene and I said, Charlene, she was like, oh, he wants to do that or the beach. And I was like, okay, so the beach is not out because you have to work that day, and we couldn't spend all day at the beach. Right. So I said, but we're adults. We know the things that are happening in the city. We've been to all of the things. Yeah.
So it's up to us to introduce them to the things. So I introduced all 4 of the children to fast track race car go-kart racing.
Oh, that's a fun thing. He loved it.
And they had size for the girls. Girls are right now at 48 inches, which is 4 feet. And they made the mark. So they raced each other, which was hilarious to watch because they got into the wheel. And I'm like, I'm so happy I did this at the go-kart track from now, because I would have been afraid if they were in a real car trying to drive. You guys
don't know how this works at all. They're like, we're 8.
They had no clue. They're like, we're okay. Press the screen button, and if you get caught, do this. No bumping allowed whatsoever. We'll kick you out without question. So the girls are like, sure. And then they got in behind the thing,
smashing each other.
They came in. They weren't smashing, but they were just because to remember to press the brake is like the hardest part for a lot of people. You're pressing the gas and you're like, "Nee," and then you're going for a wall and there's a whole braking system that will stop you at any time, and you're just like, ah! So
it is.
So the first time they're like, boom, 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 and they're just hitting the wall. And the guy who was helping us was a black young man.
Oh,
that
nice.
was there, and he just was like, his face was like,
why me?
what is going on with them donuts? Anyway,
They look like snakes. They're actually snakes, not donuts.
They sure look like it. So then, next thing you know, they race, and by the time they raced the second time, we did 2 races. Mm-hmm. By the time they raced each other the second time, they were like professionals, like cutting each other off. Yeah, they learned, and it was great. They were cutting each other. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And then Nayana was doing, in front blocking. So whenever her sister was trying to take her over, she'd move her car. It was so good. It was so good to watch. And then, we took the ride on the big course. So he was on the adult course. And so me, his mom, Nishan, and him, we raced. And, and he goes, I almost had you, Dad. I said, first and foremost, you need to know the rules of the track. So the rules of the track is nobody will ever beat your dad. None of you will beat me.
That's so funny. At
race car driving. I am the greatest race car driver in the world.
Okay. I like it. That is what Dariah learned for his birthday.
That's what he learned for his birthday.
Okay.
He sure did. And
not on the track.
I said, the second thing you need to learn is you need to learn your timing around your corners. That means slowing down as you come into the turn and speeding up as you come out of the turn. Mm-hmm. That will help you in life. Mm-hmm. I said, if you don't do that, you're going to spin out every time. And they held their own. Like they came up. He came in, I think, third in the second one. Mm-hmm. And him and Nishan switched places. Actually, his mom came in third. He came in second. Nishan came in second in the first one. Mm-hmm. And we kind of went, but I came in first. I kind of lapped everybody a couple times. So it was pretty good. But those type of things I recommend for adventures. If you have children and you want to take them out, you're tired. I was given recommendations to go to places like Snow Valley Aerial Park, stuff like that. Snow Valley right now is charging about $40 per person.
Oh, wow.
To go in this aerial park.
Okay.
Right?
$40. Okay.
It's $37.
Yeah.
And then you have your tax or whatever. So it's a little over 40. And then so you're out there, they clip you and you get to climb on all this stuff and you have this clip and it's great and you have to go through all this stuff. But after we calculated it and it got over $200 just for the 6 of us to go, it was all right.
Yeah.
So we'll do that next time.
Do you have a word this evening?
I do have a word.
Okay, we're ready for it.
The word I have, and this is coming out of the situation that I've been in, the funeral, is you only live one life on this earth. And while you're here, you have to make the impressions that you would like in your life. You have to choose your battles. And most of the battles you want to choose the ones that you come out successful. You want to come out at the top of your game. For some people, that means cutting off everybody and just rising to the top and leaving everybody behind because you're in a toxic environment. And for some people, that means not doing that, but building bridges instead of burning them. And I went through a lot of that. I went through a lot of the burning and the building of a lot of bridges. And seeing that and seeing my father and hearing people talk about my father and hearing people talk about stuff and looking at the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and recognizing the stuff that I've taken on subconsciously in my life, I'm very excited. Very excited to be his son. So I wish that everybody could do that and make that lasting impression in their life. For the people that are around you, for the people that you deal with, for the people at your workplace, for the people at your job, your friends, your neighbors, be that person who puts on a lasting impression. Whatever impression you want to put in, that's up to you. Do you want to be the guy who's argumentative? Fine. If you want to be the guy who's always right or the girl that's always right, fine. But you choose who you want to be and make it last so that you're the most successful at what you want. And be content with your life. Your life is here, and you're never going to be content trying to keep up with everybody else or the Joneses. Set your goals, climb them, take your time, take a breath. Take time to enjoy the beach. Take time to enjoy the sun. Take time to enjoy the hike. Take time to enjoy your family that's around you. And love them. And that's it. That's the word.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Back to our Tuesday swagger. I do like it better on Tuesdays, I'm not going to lie. We will see you again next Tuesday. Of course, you can listen to this podcast on all podcasting systems, including Spotify. We will see you again next week. Good night, everybody.
And thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Black Multiverse Theory Podcast.